Hello class, this is my presentation on bipolar disorder. So what is bipolar disorder? So bipolar disorder is an abnormal condition that causes individuals to experience extreme changes in energy, mood, the ability to function. So there are three types of bipolar disorder. And that is bipolar 1, bipolar 2, and cyclothematic, which all of these fall under the bipolar and related disorders. So bipolar 1 is like a manic depressive disorder that may or may not include psychotic episodes, and is characterized by manic behavior. So that manic behavior is like inflated self-esteem. They don't need a lot of sleep, feels rested only after like 3 hours of sleep. Very distractive. Attention it's just drawn to unimportant, like irrelevant things. And excessive like involvement in activities, like just so much is going on. And then they have the depressive disorder, so they can kind of go from manic to depressive, which is just depressed mood most of the day, insomnia, like there's no really any drive or motivation to do anything, just fatigued, feeling worthlessness, hopelessness, and at times they can have some recurrent thoughts of death and some suicidal ideation going on. And bipolar 2 involves like alternating depressive and manic disorders or manic episodes. This is less severe than bipolar 1. It more resembles depression than like mania. And then cyclothematic disorders is reoccurring episodes of brief mania and depression. And then people with bipolar disorder, they experience shifts in mood. People describe it as like they have high highs, which is the mania, and then low lows, which is the depressive disorder kind of stepping in. So according to the National Institute of Mental Health, they report that around 2.8 of adults in the United States over the age of 18 have experienced bipolar disorder in this past year. And then they estimated that 4.4 of adults will experience bipolar disorder at some point in their lives. The risks that bipolar disorder has, so if this condition is left untreated, it can lead to serious risks such as suicide, substance use, relationship problems, financial difficulties, and poor performance in various areas of life. According to the DSM-5 book, The Suicide Risk, it notes that at least 15 times of the general population, the individuals with bipolar disorders have the risk of suicide. So what happens if bipolar goes untreated? So if it goes untreated, the bipolar disorder can worsen with increased episodes of the manic and depressive states, which with the increasing of these moods, it can lead to suicidal thoughts, as the overwhelming roller coaster of emotions and moods kind of comes through. Seeking treatment is crucial to managing this disorder because it could really turn into substance use, which turns into another thing, which then turns into another thing, and it can get out of hand very quickly. So what are treatment options for individuals who are experiencing and dealing with bipolar disorder? So first off, it is extremely important to seek treatment from a qualified psychiatrist as they deal with mental health diagnosis. So bipolar disorder is a lifelong condition, And ongoing treatment is necessary. If you're not treated, as we said in the last slide, it can just really damage your life, and you can really just keep digging yourself into a hole, which is not good. So treatment options vary from person to person, depending on what bipolar disorder type they have, whether it's the 1, 2, or the psychomatic disorder. So it could include medication, which not just taking the medication when you're in the depressive disorders or when the manic or when it's good or bad. Like, continued medication is the best option for bipolar disorder, taking your medication when it's good or bad and just staying on it religiously. Along with treatment programs like going to therapy, going to groups. If your bipolar disorder gets out of hand and you also struggle with substance use, then you could seek treatment for substance use programs as well. Psychotherapy, and then in some cases, if it ever did get to the point of suicidal ideation or just suicide attempts, then hospitalization may be necessary depending on the situation. And then as well as lifestyle changes, like some people, what works for them could be exercise, releasing the hormones that exercising does for individuals. It just really is person to person, and speaking to that qualified psychiatrist to see kind of what your options are if you're struggling with bipolar is important and necessary. So what is the current research that is going on with bipolar disorder? So according to Johns Hopkins Medicine, in 2023, they are currently conducting a research study on bipolar disorder. The aim toward this research kind of pilot study is to enhance the treatment on the bipolar 1 with the depressive moods. So from what I read on this study was that they are going to get a group of individuals from around 18 to 22, and they are going to stay there for a period of time and study them for 10 minutes on, and then they get like a 50-minute break and then 10 minutes on to kind of see their moods, how recurrent it is, what the depressive episodes are like, to try and fix or just try and get those depressive moods treated a little bit more effectively. And they are still looking for individuals who would like to be a part of that study. I also read that a couple of different clinics are ongoing exploration of the use of psychotherapy and medication to improve the effectiveness of treating bipolar disorder. I read a lot that it may not treat it totally, but the benefits of taking the medication and staying on top of the treatment for bipolar disorder can diminish the effects of the mania and depressive episodes. And then here are my references for my presentation. I hope you guys all liked my presentation and learned a little bit more information on what bipolar is, how bipolar can be treated, what the current studies are on bipolar disorder, and then what